People of the world, we're back. It's Momentum Monday. We're going to be talking about flow state. Let's get into it. Bing, bang, boom, back in the mix. Matt in the house. What's going on?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, just wonderful. Just wonderful.
Just wonderful.
Dominating the day.
How was the weekend?
It was good. Had a couple days to chill. I mean, chill as much as you can with these kids. We watched, you know what? Flow state, good topic. We watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory last night.
Yeah.
Here's something that people could learn from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'll be doing a video on this today called Wonka Lessons. And there's obviously 5 people get golden tickets, right? 5 people get golden tickets. 5 people have the opportunity to get all the chocolate and all the Chocolate Factory and stuff. They don't know that going in, but that is at the end. And one of the members of Willy Wonka's team goes and whispers in each kid's ear that if they steal an everlasting gobstopper from the factory and give it to him, that he'll reward them with all this stuff. So at the end of the movie, Charlie gives back the everlasting gobstopper that he stole and was going to leave the factory with, and that's when he gets the reward. So here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. Are you only doing the right thing when you have to do it and when there's a reward on the line, or are you always doing the right thing? Because flow state is dependent upon how you act and how you perform when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Right. And there's all the little kids complain. They're big mouths. They're very rude. Charlie isn't, because Charlie's never had all these things that these other kids have had.
Mm-hmm.
So Charlie, Wonka lessons here. You're getting the advanced short version of it. Charlie is in kind of a little dreamland more than the other kids because he's never had anything. Barely even had the only reason why he was able to even buy the candy bar in the first place is because he found a coin in the sewer. So I would encourage people out there on Momentum Monday to think about, how are you performing when nobody's looking? And here's the other half of that lesson. There's a girl who says, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that. They even turned it into a song. I want it now, right? I want it now, right? And I see a lot of that on Facebook now. I want this and I want that and I deserve this and I deserve that and this and this and this and this and all these things should be made to accommodate me.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with me, you're wrong and you're a jerk and all of this. But that's not flow state, people.
Put it up there. Put it down.
It's just not. And so I would encourage people this week, if you want to get into a flow with your work or your mindset or whatever we talk about on this show, that, you know, the world is a hard place and you're going to have to deal with obstacles. People are going to have unfair advantages and on all this kind of stuff. You know, it was the 4th of July over the weekend. And there was a lot of back and forth on Instagram about the 4th of July.
It was my birthday.
And so my ancestors came over to this country from Ireland in 1892. My great-great-grandfather was a bricklayer and a hod carrier and a grave digger. They were very poor Irish immigrants for about 100 years. So that I could have all these opportunities that I have now with this digital age to be successful.
Yeah.
And so if you want to be a flow state, you need to take advantage of every opportunity you have instead of asking everyone else to accommodate you. Because I'm getting tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it.
Patty Pat's getting tired of it. And he learned a lot in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory exercises.
Some of you need to go watch Charlie or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and listen to how the bratty little girl sounds.
Is that Violet? Violet.
I don't.
Violet.
I don't think it's Violet. I think it's the other girl whose dad owns the peanut factory, and they're opening up 176,000 candy bars every minute or hour, and she's still complaining because she doesn't have a golden ticket. When Charlie would love to have just one chocolate bar.
That's hunger right there. Charlie,
right?
hunger.
So the difference wasn't anything other than just Charlie wanted it bad.
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm all about, hey, post whatever you want. It's freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want.
Love it.
But don't get mad when people say, hey, you sound like a little spoiled brat.
I have a little different take. That's good. I love the take on it, Pat. For me, it was, I'm on vacation right now. And so we're coming back to Michigan, visiting some family. And we're on the lake, and I really like water skiing. So water skiing is just like kind of my MO. It's just something I enjoy. And
I like that. Great comment, Katie. Be more like Charlie.
Katie's awesome. I love her. What's up, Katie? How you doing? Happy 4th of July.
There is more positive than negative. Truth.
Yeah, it's how you reflect on it, right?
Totally.
So I was water skiing, and I pop up out of the water, and I'm crossing the wake, and I'm telling you, I'm in this like flow state. And we were talking about this with Joe Dillon, right? How it's just complete presence. I love that. Just like, what is flow state? When you're complete presence,
right?
You're so involved in what you're doing. And I'm hitting these wakes and just coming through, right? And I'm like, man, I'm in this like crazy flow state. Like I was just whipping and weaving through the wake, and it felt really good. And then, right? And then I get to the point where, all right, I'm going to drop a ski. I'm really going to try to drop a ski, and I'm going to try to slalom. And I still yet to do it. But so I go and I try to drop a ski, and I got my ass kicked. I got my ass handed to me. I freaking rolled. I felt like I was a rock skipping over the water. I'm freaking all over the place. I'm holding my head because I think the ski's gonna hit me. It was ridiculous. I knocked me out of my complete flow state, right? And so then I thought this was a good parallel, because I was just in a flow state. Now I got to put my skis back on, and I got to pop back up. But I'm thinking with the mindset of, I just got my ass handed to me, right? But like literally just, I'm hurting, like my body's hurting already. And my back's in shambles right now. But now I'm acting out of a state of fear. And now I'm like, oh, well, if I fall again, like what's going to happen? Completely kicked me out of my flow state. And I'm like, how do I get back into that, right? And I was thinking of that through this weekend. I'm like, dude, like that's life. You get kicked out of your flow state all the time, and it's
right.
Mitigate that, how you shorten that up, right? And how I can redirect it and kick it back.
Well, and it's just like what our friend Katie said here. It's going to be hard. Anybody who thinks getting what they want out of life or anything is going to be easy isn't. But taking action, setting a plan, and like she said, raising the kids right, being a change spread. I think all those things are like totally congruent with being in a flow state. Because if you're focused on those things, you don't have time to point all these fingers at everything else.
Right. Yeah, no, look at yourself, right? Look at yourself first and see what you can do. What's the change I can make? And I always go back, like I do, you hit a flow state even at home. I was a flow state. It was my birthday yesterday, and I was like looking back, and I'm like, what way can I change this day? And there's two factors that I had mentioned in the podcast with Joe Dillon, right? Is that there's extreme gratefulness and presence are the two things. Because you can be grateful, but when you're extremely grateful, when you're perpetually grateful, when you can find gratefulness in almost anything, And so this weekend, I was thinking of that, right? I was thinking of this on my birthday. I'm like, man, so we're staying at my father-in-law's house in the lake, and I'm looking out over the water, and I'm having a cup of coffee. And I had asked him to get up early to take me out on the water, because when people get on the water gets all choppy, and I wanted to ski. And I was thinking, going out there, I'm like, dude, how grateful am I that this guy, he filled up the gas tank. So I didn't even need to fill up the gas tank, which is kind of annoying, right? In the boat, like you have to go, there's no marina. So you got to go get the gas, bring it back in, right? No one fills it up for you. So he's filling up the gas tank for me, getting up early, taking me on the water. I'm like, dude, I am so grateful. Like, thank you so much. Like I told him like probably 3 or 4 times, thank you so much for taking me out. And, then even, throughout the course of the day, I just had to mention to my wife, I'm like, I'm so thankful for you. Like all the things that you do. I really appreciate it, because it makes my life that much easier, right? Just being grateful, finding the silver linings. Even the other day, like my sister-in-law, she made us like this, like lunch. She just like pasta. We had like fruit salads. My brother-in-law did the same thing. I'm like, dude, I am so grateful. That's like a level of like identifying extreme gratefulness. Like that food wasn't made there before. They took time out of their day to make that food. How can I not be like grateful for that? Just identifying everything and throughout the day. I mean, it was every 5 minutes that I was literally consciously trying to identify how I could be grateful in that moment.
Well, and that's kind of how I looked at the whole weekend myself too, is I'm super grateful for all the people that paved the way for us to have the things we have today. Like I said, I mean, my grandparents and great uncles and all this stuff fought in world wars, against evil in this world to preserve the freedom that we enjoy today. And so I think it's important to remember that, those infantries were all different colors of people working together, all different backgrounds to bring safety to future generations.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
and
no,
so
I agree with you.
I think the more we think about all of us working to achieve a flow state together, instead of what I described earlier, that I see the Wonka lesson, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah. No,
there's just gotta be, there's gotta be change, and there's gotta be compromises, but there also has to be more action than just talk.
The one of the proudest moments, and I'm not lying, one of the proudest moments of my entire life. So I dropped my kids off with my mom, and my mom and dad this weekend, and my mom came back and she dropped them off, and she's like, you know what I just got to experience this weekend with Genevieve is that she's just so grateful for everything. And I'm like, dude, that's like what I'm trying to instill. That's what Katie's saying. Going back to Katie's point, right? Raise them right. Is when you can, kids they model you. Whether
right
or not, they see so much in you. And I'm like, she saw that maybe in me, she might say in my wife too, right? But that extreme level of gratitude where you're just like, thank you so much, Grandma. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Like I even had a discussion with a mentor, and actually I call him my nephew, Juan. And we got to have a really good talk about some things. And I just told him about like the level of extreme gratitude. And I said, man, I'm proud of you. He got a 4.0 this past semester.
I've never gotten one of those.
I know, neither have I. And so he's just doing real good, and he's working really hard in school. And I just wanted to let him know that I was grateful for him, and that I was really proud of him and what he was doing. But that even talking with him and that, like, just being super present, what I was able to do even there, actually, I shut off my phone this entire weekend, which is, I haven't done that in a really, really long time. I shut off my phone, didn't answer texts, didn't really look on social media all that much. I posted, I think, later in the night. And I'm going to try to do that more, actually, just like take pictures, be present, and try to post a little bit later on. I think it's a good portion of like time management. So it doesn't kick you out of the flow state, right? And I think that's what's pivotal. So when I was talking with him, when I was talking with my parents, even this weekend, the phone typically is like taking me out of a flow state, or I let my kids attitude take me out of a flow state.
Right.
I'm like, you know what I mean? Why are you being like that? And then it takes you out kind of where you're at. And the more and more you can be in a flow state and a level of extreme gratitude, we were talking about the health benefits of that and just being positive and being extremely grateful. And so I was telling my, I was telling my, oh no, we got my baby.
We got another injury.
Kelly's right outside.
This isn't the first of the last time that.
So
that's part of the deal, dude.
That's part of the deal. But so I was telling him though, as far as like from a level of a kind of extreme gratitude and how it like maybe kicks you out of flow state, and then just the positive reinforcement and the health that creates, and being extremely grateful. I forgot exactly where that kicked me off track for a minute, but being extremely grateful and the health benefits that come across with just identifying those silver linings wherever that may be. I think that that's huge. That's just a massive thing, and I got to experience that. Right, I said surfing, and then that following day I actually was hopping up on skis and hit that flow state. But then where things come into play is where it takes you off track is fear, right? Fear takes you out of the fear to, like that something's going to happen. I even was telling this to Juan, is like, don't let anyone else determine your definition of success. You determine that. And I love what Joe was saying. Don't be results oriented, because if you don't hit that result, what does that matter? What does that matter to anyone else? Like, you're still creating those action. And Pat, you brought in a lot of really good topics on that it's all about action. It's all about creating that level of change. And, even in the current times,
because anybody can say it. Anybody can say, I want all these things, but what are those people actually doing? You got to judge it based on the action, the level of action.
Yeah.
Right. Like The Rock. You can go on The Rock's Instagram and see all the action that he takes, years and years and years and years and years and years of hard work.
Right.
And that's why he's at where he's at right now. He's not have $7 in his pocket like that old story that he tells.
Yeah, for sure.
Took years and years and years of action.
Massive.
He didn't just sit around and complain on Facebook and say, I want this and I want that, and then not do anything and then be mad that nothing changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm saying there about the Wonka lesson. About the spoiled little girl that just expects to just yell at her dad and then everything's going to show up. It's not how it works. She lost the contest.
Yeah. I think, and that brings up a really good point. So don't let anyone define your definition of success, but don't let anyone else determine your level of success either. That's pretty big, right? Too. When you let somebody else determine how successful you're going to be, that's going to limit your ceiling, right?
Right, because you're depending on them now. Not you.
Exactly. So, today I like the motto, today's ceiling is tomorrow's floor, right? Where you're constantly striving for more. And that, that more is also just having the growth mindset. And then being present, right? You have to be present at times and acclimate to your environment before you go into the next growth phase. But, what does that look like? What does that flow state look like? I don't know. Everyone's flow state is going to be a little bit different on a daily basis. It's for me, it's going to be completely different, right? I got 3 kids, a wife. Getting into my flow state is going to be, it's just going to be, Pat, 2 kids, wife, working from home.
Yeah. I have to get up at 4:44 every day, like Mark Evans, to get a workout in, do this, do that, and be rolling by 6:30 or 7 o'clock when all the girls wake up.
I set my alarm for 4:30. I did not wake up at 4:30.
Every single day. I've been doing that for a long time.
You're looking beautiful.
I mean, it probably doesn't look pretty, but you know what I mean? Hard work never really looks pretty.
No, hard work does not look pretty.
But anyway, yeah, if you want that flow state, you got to take the action.
Got to take the action, man. Got to take the action. And then also, I mean, it's never a bad idea. And I think it's never a bad idea to identify something, whether it's a hobby, I know I'm not a big believer in video games at all. I know guys can get into flow state, probably video games. That's not me. I think
mean,
it's a
I
big
used
waste
to
of
be able
time.
to play video games when I was a kid. I just don't anymore.
Dude, I think it's just a super big waste of time. Like, dude, I just think of it in terms of like,
Yeah.
if I spent that much time playing a video game, what better could I get?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I can see it both ways. I can see why people are
Yeah.
like, well, I'd rather do this than get drunk at the bar or something like that.
That's cool. Yeah,
Cool.
but that's also another thing. Is that like a good like?
No, it's not.
That probably is exploiting a problem.
That's
But,
not really going to get you in a flow state the next day.
No. It's not going to get in the flow state. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but
I
do
can tell you
know.
from experience on that one.
Yeah, but no, man. I think sometimes hobbies. I've definitely been. I'm athletic, so I mean, it's just one of those things. I like to call myself athletic, I guess. But
I think you're athletic, Matt.
thanks, brother. I appreciate the belief. But I think sometimes it's good to identify those outlets. Golf or whatever it may be. You do. I hit a flow state when I hit a golf ball, right? I hit a flow state when I pop up my skis. But sometimes those hobbies just to kind of encourage that, and then even dive into it at a much deeper level, and how you can get in a flow state in a given day, right? And my flow state in a given day is to the constant redirection of gratitude. Like, how can I be grateful in this very moment? And I'm not always grateful, so that's not being in a flow.
I don't know if anybody's like 100%, unless you're like some kind of like monk or something that sits up on a mountain and freaking floats all day. More power to you, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not that conscious.
Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do. But
Anyway,
you know what? I mean, that's why we do this stuff, is so that we can talk about it and we can get feedback and we can get people's ideas and implement those, because we're trying to get better.
Absolutely, brother.
We're trying to get better at the end of the day. So I encourage you to get better. Figure out those things that are dragging you off course. Eliminate them. Eliminate those things. Acknowledge them first. If you don't acknowledge those things, you can't change them.
Yeah.
So if you're, I want this and I want this and I want this, that's fine. But then what's the solution for any of those bullet points? Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's why you got to be protective over your tribe too. Right. I mean, your tribe, like who's going to be around or want to be around the person that's like always bringing you down, is extremely negative. Right.
Well, or someone that's not even willing to look from different lenses. Everyone has a different lens. Like I said about my ancestors and their experience with the country might be different than somebody else's. That doesn't mean that I don't respect anyone else's lens. It depends on what lens you're looking through.
Right.
Because there's a lot of different lenses.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one way to look at anything. It's a combination of all these different factors that go into anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important to remember too.
Absolutely. Love
beautiful.
it. Beautiful.
Momentum on point. You enjoy the day.
Appreciate you.
Enjoy the family out there in Michigan. We made it through an episode without dropping any cursing, because we were on a curse roll there for like a whole week last week. Last week was like the parental advisory week, but now we're getting that flow back.
Yeah.
So man, I appreciate you, dude. Good times.
Appreciate you. Bro.
Thank you, Katie. We love you, and we'll see everybody next time.
All right, guys. Follow me.